It's strange how you can't always tell whether luck is on your side. It was a quiet Saturday morning when I backed out of my driveway, ready to make a quick run to Home Depot for some parts to fix the bathroom tub. But before I even made it 100 feet, I realized something was wrong: a flat tire. Frustrated, but thankful I hadn't made it far, I decided to walk back home to grab my hydraulic jack. As I stepped into the kitchen, the sound of Dora's voice caught my attention. She was talking to someone, her tone low, but the words clear.
"Don't worry, he won't be a problem," she said.
The jingle of my keys hitting the counter must have alerted her to my presence. Her voice quickly dropped into hushed whispers, and then I heard, "Gotta go." A moment later, she appeared in the doorway with a casual smile.
"Hey hon, that was quick," she said smoothly.
"I had a flat tire," I replied, watching her closely.
"Oh, that sucks.
"Need help with it?" she asked, feigning concern. "Nope, I got it," I answered, my mind already spinning. Something about the conversation I just overheard unsettled me. As I changed the tire, I found myself replaying recent moments, searching for any warning signs I might have overlooked. And then, something from the night before stood out. Dora had casually mentioned that the bathroom tub was nearly clogged again. It was an old house, and the plumbing had its quirks, but what struck me was the timing. Why would that even matter at 6 in the evening? We used the tub as a shower, and if she noticed it was getting worse, it meant she had taken a shower before I got home. That in itself wasn't damning evidence, but it planted a seed of doubt. After finishing with the tire, I went upstairs to wash my hands. Before leaving the bathroom, I checked the laundry basket. That's when I found something strange: a damp bath towel from the night before and a pair of panties that had been hand-washed but were still slightly wet. My name is Matt, and I've been married to Dora for 4 years. We knew each other back in high school, but we never dated then. We reconnected after college, and everything just seemed to click. Our relationship was strong, and our love life had always been good, even after marriage. Thinking back, though, maybe the first real warning sign had come months ago. Our close friends, Jim and Diane, had gone through a nasty divorce. Jim had been relentless, and I supported him fully. Diane had cheated, and to me, that was inexcusable. Dora, however, had reacted differently. She couldn't understand how I, someone she always saw as mild-mannered, could condone such brutal treatment of Diane. It was just intimacy, she had argued. Does that really justify destroying her life? I had shaken my head. Dora, fidelity is like pregnancy: you either are or you aren't. There's no in-between. You're either faithful or you're not. At the time, her reaction hadn't seemed significant. Now, in retrospect, it spoke volumes. I needed to clear my head. Fixing the bathroom no longer felt important, so I stepped outside to work in the yard. Dora was tending to her rose bushes nearby, while I started trimming the trees. A sudden, piercing scream shattered the quiet. I turned to see Dora stumbling backward, terror in her eyes. "Snake!" she shrieked, nearly tripping over herself in her frantic attempt to get away. I couldn't help but smirk. Dora was absolutely terrified of snakes, while I found them amusing, like little ropes with eyes and forked tongues. Strolling over, I spotted the source of her panic: a tiny garter snake, no longer than a foot.
"Kill it! Kill it!" she screamed.
Feigning seriousness, I scanned the ground and then straightened up.
"I don't see anything." "Are you sure?" "Yes, damn it." "It was huge," she insisted, her voice trembling. Suppressing a grin, I picked up a small twig about the same size as the snake and flicked it in her direction. "Is this it?"
The only response I got was the sound of the door slamming shut. She had locked me outside. I had to apologize profusely, nearly begging, before she finally let me back in.
"I need to lie down."
"I hate snakes," she grumbled, rubbing her arms as if trying to shake off the thought of it.
Not funny.
Once she was upstairs, I saw my chance. I grabbed her phone and quickly jotted down the numbers she had been calling frequently. Then, I checked her Google Maps history. One entry stood out. Yesterday at 2:30 p.m., she had looked up directions to a place called the Parakeet Lounge. A quick search told me everything I needed to know. The Parakeet Lounge was attached to the America Sleeps Motel. One piece of the puzzle fell into place. Now, I needed the final confirmation. A few minutes later, I parked a short distance from an unfamiliar house. I sat there for a while, watching. 2 children played in the front yard, while a woman occasionally popped her head out, checking on them. Then, a man stepped outside, got into his car and drove off. I took a deep breath and approached the house. The woman answered the door, her expression neutral but polite.
"Yes?
"May I help you?" I offered a friendly nod.
"Good morning, ma'am."
"I'm updating census records. Are you Mrs. Sather?" She hesitated before nodding.
Yes, I am. I pulled out a small notepad, pretending to jot down a note. And your first name? Julie, she answered. I continued writing. And you have 2 children, correct?
May I confirm their ages?
She nodded, giving me the numbers. One last question.
And you're still married to Jacob?
A small frown flickered across her face, but she answered, yes. That was all I needed. I gave her a polite smile. Thank you, Julie. That's all for now. Have a wonderful day. As I walked back to my car, my jaw tightened. I had all the proof I needed. Jacob Sather, Dora's coworker, was the man she had been seeing. His home was just 4 miles away. His wife was still in the dark. For now. The morning light filtered softly through the blinds as I sipped my coffee, the weight of my suspicions pressing down on me like an iron vice. For weeks, I had been carefully observing, collecting fragments of moments that hinted at a betrayal I refused to believe outright. It was only when I saw the undeniable proof with my own eyes that the truth carved itself into my soul, sharp and unrelenting. My wife Dora had found solace in the arms of another, Jacob. And just like that, the foundation of my life cracked. I had always considered myself a measured man, not prone to rash decisions or blind rage. But this was a different kind of fire. It wasn't the explosion of fury that so many fell victim to in times of deceit. No, mine was a cold, calculating flame, one that burned slowly, meticulously. If Dora had chosen to forsake our vows, then I would ensure that choice came with consequences she would never forget. Keeping my routine as normal as possible was the first step. I continued deflecting her attempts at intimacy with well-practiced indifference, offering small excuses that she barely seemed to register. She had no idea that I had already set my plan in motion, using a burner phone to arrange everything down to the last detail. By Friday, my patience was rewarded. Taking the day off, I followed Dora after work, keeping a safe distance as she navigated through the streets with the ease of someone unaware of the storm brewing behind them. My heart remained steady, my mind sharp as I watched her pull into the parking lot of a modest roadside motel. She didn't hesitate, moving with a familiarity that confirmed this was not her first visit. Moments later, Jacob arrived, and together, they disappeared up the stairs. That was all I needed to see. The drive home was eerily calm, my thoughts laser-focused. When Dora walked through the door that evening, she barely masked her surprise at seeing me already settled in, watching television as if I hadn't just uncovered the depth of her betrayal. "Matt? What are you doing home so early?" she asked, her voice forced and light. I shrugged, feigning casual indifference. "Took the afternoon off. Had some errands to run." "You're home early too." There was a flicker of hesitation before she responded. "I spilled a drink on myself at work, so I thought I'd come home and shower." Her lie was smooth, practiced even. She barely paused before adding, "Why don't we go out for steak tonight?" Impressive. She was quick on her feet. But not quick enough. I smiled, hiding my amusement as I watched her ascend the stairs, heading toward the bathroom. It had taken me less than an hour to prepare everything earlier. The original doorknob had been replaced with one that could only be opened from the bedroom side. Once she stepped inside and shut the door, she would have no way out. I listened intently as the door clicked shut. The moment of truth. A few seconds later, a blood-curdling scream shattered the air. The pounding against the wooden door came hard and fast, accompanied by sheer panic. "Matt! Let me out! Let me out! Please!" I let her beg for a moment before responding, my tone eerily calm. "Maybe Jacob can help you. What's his number?" Her sobs turned desperate. "Oh God, I'm sorry, Matt. It was only a mistake. I love you. Please open the door." But I wasn't done yet. I had borrowed 2 large yellow anaconda snakes from my herpetologist friend, Alex. Both were about 8 feet long, their thick bodies coiled lazily in the bathtub behind the closed shower curtain. They weren't venomous, but hunger made them unpredictable. Though Alex assured me they were well fed, even a few weeks without food could stir their primal instincts. Dora's screams reached new levels of hysteria. There was a loud crash, likely from her frantic attempts to keep them away. Feigning concern, I called through the door, "Honey, they're just snakes. Be careful though, they're drawn to human fluids. Sweat, urine, certain other fluids, especially." A fresh wave of terrified curses erupted from within. The noise of objects smashing against the walls told me she was trying to fend them off. I delivered my final stroke of terror. "Try not to fall asleep. That's when they get active." Dora sobbed uncontrollably. "Matt, please. Please let me out." "I'll check back in a few hours," I murmured before turning up the volume on the radio to drown out her screams. The night was peaceful for me.
I slept soundly on the couch while she endured the longest, most horrifying hours of her life. The following morning, coffee in hand, I ascended the stairs to check on her. When I knocked, the only response was weak whimpering.
"You still in there, honey?"
I asked mockingly. Nothing but a faint groan. Smirking, I spent the morning enjoying my day, browsing for a new car, mowing the lawn, indulging in a long, leisurely meal. Every once in a while, another round of frantic sobs echoed from upstairs. By the second night, her voice was hoarse, her resistance worn down. "Matt," she croaked, "I'll do anything.
"Please."
Feigning sympathy, I replied, "Watch them closely. If they start intertwining, that means they're excited. You really don't want to be in there when that happens." A fresh wave of hysteria exploded from behind the door. By morning, all was silent. I finally unlocked the door and found Dora crumpled on the bathroom floor, wedged between the wall and the toilet. The bathroom was in ruins, a testament to her frantic attempts at escape. With practiced efficiency, I retrieved the snakes, securing them back in their canvas bags before replacing the original door handle. Then, with my phone, I recorded a video of the scene. Dora, broken and delirious, surrounded by the wreckage of her own making. I dialed 911, my voice filled with carefully crafted concern. "My wife has been acting strange. She locked herself in the bathroom and trashed it. I think she might be having some kind of mental breakdown." The police arrived swiftly. When they tried to move her, she lashed out, screaming about snakes and betrayal. It took both officers to subdue her. As they escorted her to the hospital, I played my role flawlessly, the devastated husband, shaken and confused by his wife's sudden psychotic break. The doctors decided she needed at least a week of psychiatric evaluation. By the time I visited, she was restrained in a hospital bed, sedated into a restless sleep. The doctor's report was grim. She was unable to distinguish reality from delusion, lashing out at anyone who came near. "She keeps raving about how you locked her in a room with snakes," the doctor explained, flipping through his notes.
"And she keeps mentioning an affair."
I widened my eyes in practiced shock.
"An affair? Dora?"
"No, that can't be," I let my voice tremble, sinking into a chair. "You think guilt caused her to snap?"
The doctor sighed.
"The brain is a complicated thing." I exhaled slowly, as if processing my devastation. "So, what happens to her now?" "She'll need further evaluation." That was all I needed to hear. While Dora languished in a psychiatric facility, I contacted my lawyer to initiate divorce proceedings. Our home, our assets, everything. Soon, it would all belong to me. Jacob didn't fare much better. A venomous snake had mysteriously found its way into his car. By the time they got him to the hospital, they had to amputate a few fingers. I later hung a poster in my office, a simple phrase printed across it. "A snake may shed its skin, but it's still a snake." Dora and Jacob had both made their choices. I had simply ensured they lived with the consequences.